All right, well, good morning. Here we are on this Thursday morning. Meteorologist Anthony Slaughter here with you, a weather update for your Thursday. We are on our digital platforms this morning giving you an update on what's to come later today. Now, we did this a couple days ago when we had strong storms move through, and a lot of the storms that hit just on Tuesday did miss our area. We had just a few, but they produced hail and some damaging wind. Well, today's risk is a higher risk. We're not talking just slight, but it's an enhanced risk, so it's a step higher. And the timing on the storms that are going to arrive today is somewhere between 1 and 7 o'clock. They're already out in Kansas City this morning, and they are drifting our direction. The main risk today is going to be damaging wind gusts that could top 70 miles per hour, and that would actually be strong enough to create some power outages. So we really want to make sure that you're prepared for that as we go through the day. Make sure you have a backup plan if you lose power often on days where we get really strong storms. Generator, make sure that you've got gas in the generator as well. And even keep an eye out for large hail and a few tornadoes possible later today. So here's the setup. We've got a warm front to our south. South of the warm front, you've got humid air. Dew points are in the 60s there, and that's fuel for thunderstorm development. You go north of the front where we are in St. Louis, well, it's dry air. Numbers not too bad. Even this morning we did cool down in the 50s, but there's a stormy weather riding right along those frontal boundaries, area of low pressure in Kansas. All of those pieces of energy are going to drift our direction as we go through the day. In fact, a little bit closer in, you can see from Chillicothe this morning up in northwestern Missouri back towards Kansas City, the leading edge of storms now beginning to push out of the metro there. And again, these will be drifting our direction as we go through the day. Now, on average, it would take storms about 4 hours, just like it would take in a car, to drive from Kansas City to St. Louis. So the storms are roughly about 4 hours away, at least the energy is. And that would put us close to noon. And then with the heating of the day, like we always get, that would supercharge these storms as we get the peak heating by 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's this tail end of the storms that are going to form that are out in Kansas this morning. The energy right along this line here is going to be drifting our direction. So that would put our storms here in St. Louis and area wide really close to about 12, 1 o'clock, the beginning of it by then. You can see we do have cloud cover developing now. On days like this, you probably know the song and dance by now. If we get a lot of sunshine, that's fuel for thunderstorms. If we stay cloudy, the storms aren't as strong. And well, we're mostly cloudy now, but these are high, thin clouds, so the sun's actually able to get through them. You see the winds are kicking. Notice the flag there at top of the building, the high up there, winds out of the east-southeast at 14. Those mile-per-hour gusts today could top 20, 30 mile-per-hour gusts. The dew point, this is low for now. It's 48, but just south of the boundary, we do have dew points that are in the 60s. So the day ahead, starting off nice and dry. This is the time to plan, time to prepare in the morning hours while we don't have anything going on, because once we get into the afternoon, it's just a little too late. Of course, if you do lose power, trying to scramble and find the ingredients and things like that, the power for the generator, even candles, flashlights. So it's time right now to prepare for the potential of the power outages and strong wind gusts. 82 for the high. The risk of storms go up to about 80%. So it's a strong likelihood that all of us will see storms later today. And here are your dew points. You notice again, 40s on the map. That's dry air, relatively not a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, but Cape Girardeau, Springfield, those dew points are in the 60s. That is a moisture-rich atmosphere. And in fact, it's the moisture that you need for ingredients on days like this. You have to have the heat. We've already had that, and you have to have those dew points high enough, at least above 55, to get the strong storms to trigger. So as the warm front lifts north today, that'll get us into the 80s. Notice this first line of storms is going to fall apart as it moves this direction because it's going off towards the northeast away from the boundary. But the heating of the day, area of low pressure moving in, you can see how the storms erupt right over St. Louis from really about Litchfield, St. Louis Metro, down that 44 corridor into Rolla and back towards the Ozarks. I think this time frame between 2 and 4, this particular model shows we'll have the strongest storms move through. The other model actually has it hanging off until about 5 or 6, but regardless, they all push southeast of St. Louis. By 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, Effingham, Mount Vernon, down towards Carbondale, Perryville, Farmington, even our southern counties like Iron, Reynolds, Madison, you may have some strong storms about 7, 8, 9 o'clock, and then they clear away. Now, we show you several different models, through the week and over the course of time. I want to show you another one because this one is actually a little bit slower when it comes to the time frame of when the storms will move through. Notice the cloud cover, though, that builds. That would, again, hinder the storms from reaching their full potential. This one, again, slower. 4 o'clock, the storm's pushing in western portions of our viewing area from Troy to Herman, St. Charles, Chesterfield, Sullivan, and then closer to 5, 6 for St. Louis Metro. Now, this particular model shows a couple of clusters here of strong storms, and if this were to happen, these are supercells that form, and you see how they kind of bow out, there's kind of that comma shape to them. That denotes where you would have the strongest winds. And on days like this, we're talking wind gusts easily getting over 60 miles per hour. So I think that potential today exists where we could have winds over 70 miles per hour, maybe even 80 in spots if this line can get its act together and form into a complete line. There you go, 8 o'clock this evening, pushing away from St. Louis, starting to dry out. So again, you kind of take a blend of the models here, and that's why we're thinking somewhere between 1 o'clock this afternoon and 7 this evening, the worst of the weather expecting to move on through. This is an update from the Storm Prediction Center. Yesterday, we had a slight risk. That's the yellow you see, level 2. Today, it's a level 3. And in fact, at 8 o'clock, the Storm Prediction Center always puts out an update on day of. And the one thing that's different here, and it's not a big difference, but this area here north of St. Louis, earlier in the morning, it was just about right here. So this has been shaved down just a little bit, the enhanced risk for some of our northern counties like Bowling Green, Litchfield. But I still think you do need to be on guard everywhere, regardless of the location of the outlook today. Now, this is an enhanced risk. It's a level 3, not just a slight risk like we had on Tuesday. So this is a higher risk compared to what we had. Gusty winds, this is going to be the main risk today. Over 70 miles per hour, the gusts could top. Also large hail, 2 inches or larger in diameter, and tornadoes are all possible. Now, I want to help you understand these risk levels because we kind of throw these around a lot this time of year. Marginal, hardly anything. Slight, that's what we had yesterday for today, and that's a few, just a few. That's the key word here. Today, it's numerous, it's enhanced, so that's where we're worried about the possibility of not just 1 or 2 storms turning severe, but maybe several rounds of storms, several severe storms at the same time for different counties of our area. And whenever we have that happening, a lot of times we're in wall-to-wall coverage and the warnings just continue to pop up nonstop. So I want to make sure you have a way of getting your warnings today. Go to your cell phone, if you have it nearby. Go to your settings, all right? You get to your settings, this menu opens up. Once you see this menu here, you want to go to your notifications tab. You click on that. Once you click on that, you'll see all the apps that are in your phone. You go to the very bottom, scroll all the way to the bottom, okay? You'll see these 3 sections here. You want to make sure your emergency alerts are turned on with the green button here, and that will send a tone to your phone in the event of any kind of severe weather warnings, whether it's a severe thunderstorm warning, a tornado warning, and even a flash flood warning. If any of those come out during the time that these storms roll through, you will get a tone sent to your phone, a message as well, and these are county dependent. So you also want to make sure your location is turned on for any of your cell phone services, tracking, things like that. So that's how you get your warnings. Also, you can have the 5 on Your Side app handy. We'll be online, we'll be on YouTube, we'll be streaming, wherever you get any of your digital information from. I want to take a second to talk about tornado watches versus tornado watch. This is the same deal for severe thunderstorm watch and severe thunderstorm warning, but we always hear this every single time there are storms. We get these watches, conditions look like this. And folks just think, oh, the storm just came out of nowhere. Well, again, we always talk about on days like this, you get a nice, bright, sunny sky, that's fuel for thunderstorm development. And whenever we have the conditions favorable, a lot of times the sky will look like this, and you'll think, oh, we're good to go. Well, the conditions are favorable today. So if we get a watch, the sky may look like this, and you think, no big deal, right? It's when we get the warning where the tornado has either been indicated by radar or has been spotted by a physical person seeing it with their naked eye, anywhere, whether it's a spotter, emergency trained spotters, or even emergency management. And these are issued by county. So you really want to know the county you live in, St. Louis County, St. Charles County. And whenever you get that tone, especially if you get the warning sent to your phone, that's when you want to act now. You want to get to your basement, you want to get to your safe space. And I put this graphic together to help you understand where to go in the event of a tornado. Now all homes aren't created the same, right? But this just gives you an idea of a floor plan for a generic home. We want to mark the spots that are not safe with an X here. Outside, deck. That's number 1. Folks love to take pictures. They want to go outside. They want to see the storm as it's rolling through. Well, just keep in mind, you go to open that door and right away, if the wind is gusting 60, 70 miles per hour, not only can that door fly right out of your hand, it can come and hit you right back in the face. We've heard of this happening, injuries, and that's how you get a basic injury from just trying to go out and see the storm. Other things to keep in mind: if you know a tornado is coming towards your house, your subdivision, bedroom, garage, living room, kitchen, a lot of those have windows, maybe not the garage, but if any exterior walls get blown away, you're left exposed. So we always tell you to get to an interior portion of your home, right? Stairwell, a hallway, a small closet, even the bathroom. Now, I know a lot of bathrooms have windows, but if you have a bathroom that just has a small window, you should be okay. It's if you have a large window where you're not okay. And also, if you go to the bathroom, get in the bathtub. No water, but just in the bathtub. And the reason I say that is because the bathtub is one of the heaviest items in your home. If walls get blown away, if roofs get ripped off, the bathtub will be left behind because it's not as light as some of those other items. So those are your safe places on the main level. The best place, though, is the basement. If you have a basement, go there, stay there until the storm threat passes. And even, you see the stairwell here? You can always go under the stairwell. A lot of times homes will have a closet under the stairs or even just an empty space, but it's a small space. It's those small, tight spaces that a lot of times the wind doesn't have a chance to whip through and remove those walls. And so those are your safe places. Remember your shoes, remember helmets. And if you don't have helmets, you can always use blankets, pillows, things like that, just to insulate your body, your head especially, from some of the damage. So here's a recap before we move on, and we'll have to do some live TV here. We have strong to severe storms. Again, the timing 1 o'clock in the afternoon for western portions of our viewing area, closer to 3-4 in St. Louis Metro, pushing off towards 6-7 for Metro East. Big story, wind damage today. I mean, we're talking winds that could exceed 70 miles per hour, and there's your risk level again, as we mentioned: damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes. It's an enhanced risk. So not only is it just 1 or 2 little storms, there could be several of them at the same time as we go through the day. So that is something we're watching for very closely. If you have outdoor plans today, I would say you really want to keep an eye to the sky as those numbers climb up into the 80s, and the humidity will be building as well. We always say it when thunder roars: just go indoors and keep yourself safe, your family safe as well. And we will be here tracking it. When the weather gets active, we'll be on all of our digital platforms. We will be alerting you and warning you to keep you and your family safe in the event of any life-threatening or dangerous weather. And then after this, well, we go into the weekend. It's really going to be nice. And if you haven't watched Today in St. Louis, early in the morning we're on between 4 and 7. We've introduced now our 10-day forecast. Now, I know there's a large margin of error once you go past 7 days, but this matches the phone. You pull up your phone, you're making plans for next weekend, and you can actually do that with our 10-day forecast as well. So the next 7 days, it is going to cool down this weekend into the 60s. Even morning temperatures will be in the 40s. And as we go into next week, we'll have high temperatures near 70 degrees, maybe a little bit warmer to end the week, but our next chance of thunderstorms develop as we head towards perhaps Thursday and Friday. We go into the end of April, warm temperatures will be coming on back. We'll be up near 80 degrees. So again, just keep in mind today, stormy weather could develop. It could be life-threatening. It could be dangerous. Make sure you have a way to get those weather warnings. And of course, whenever we do have that kind of weather coming on through, our whole team will be here tracking it. Scott Connell, Chief Meteorologist, he will be here along with Gary Frank, Jim Castillo, and Tracy Henson out in our storm tracker to show you the views around town as these storms roll on through. All right, so that is the information that we have, the very latest for any of all of the details and data that I've got here. We have our web person standing by for any questions or comments that folks may have asked. Sam, you got anything for us?
I'm not seeing any questions.
So okay. All right, cool. Well, hopefully that was a good explanation for everybody at home watching, whether you are at work, getting your day started, or about to head out the door right now. Just be safe today. You know, we've had severe weather in and around St. Louis for many, many years, and this is no different. We, of course, will get through it. Just make sure you have your plan in place and you are prepared and good to go. I will say, I don't think this is going to be the worst severe weather outbreak we've ever had in St. Louis, but the potential does exist for some damaging wind. And of course, you know how that wind comes through, knocking down trees, knocking down power lines. And sometimes it takes a little while for the crews to get to some of those power outages and restore the power. So make sure you're good to go if you do lose power today, and maybe for several hours or an extended amount of time. I know even personally, we lost power last year during one big storm, and it took crews about a week for us to get everything restored. You know, we got our air conditioning back first. We got some of the utilities back and the lights, but we had a generator, and that really helped us on days like today because, of course, you know, the crews couldn't get to us right away. We had to wait a little bit, and so that generator saved our life when it came to having air conditioning, when it came to having just lights and, you know, things like that, electricity. So today, again, 82 for the high. Thunderstorms develop this afternoon and evening. You know where to go to find us. We'll be here to keep you posted all day long. Have a good one and stay safe.